Maybe shouldn't, but it's the Buffalo Bills that are going to win it for me. And right now, it's the hero of last week's games, Matt Barr, that's going to kick it off. Now let's go to our American commentators.
Matt Barr to kick off. Don Smith is back to receive along with Al Edwards, and Super Bowl 25 is underway in Tampa. Barr's kick taken up at the 13-yard line. It's Don Smith, who used to play for the Buccaneers, tackled by Barr. So Matt Barr, who loves to refer to himself as a player and not just a kicker, proves it on the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl. And here come the Bills. They go without a huddle. Jim Kelly calls his own plays. Clearly, he has gone through the first several with Ted Marchibroda, the offensive coordinator, and here we go on first down. Kelly has protection, but nobody gets open, and then he has to throw it away. So even though the offensive line did its job, so did the Giants secondary. Let's take a look quickly now at the Buffalo offense with Jim Kelly having by far the best year of his career. Thurman Thomas in the backfield with him. Lofton, Reed, and Edwards the wideouts, and McKellar an emerging tight end. We'll get to the offensive line in a moment. The pass over the middle. There's the crossing pattern to Reed, but that doesn't do a lot of damage as Greg Jackson makes the tackle. If the Giants can hold him to 3, 4, 5-yard gains, that's good enough. Here is that offensive line with Wolford going to the Pro Bowl, Richer, Hull going to the Pro Bowl, Davis and Ballard each in excess of 300 pounds on the right side. 3rd down and 6. Kelly over the middle again. It is caught by Reed, but Reed is shy of the first down. So the Bills, interestingly, complete 2 crossing patterns, but don't get a first down.
And the Giants did it with 2 down linemen. They were hoping they could do that. It was Leonard Marshall and Eric Howard. They had 4 linebackers, and the rest were defensive backs. So they got away with at least on the first trip. It will make Buffalo thinking about continuing to keep that ball in the air. However, Kelly should have a lot of time with that kind of defensive alignment.
Rick Tootin to kick for Buffalo. You saw Dave Meggett, one of the best in the league at returning punts, dropping back. And Tootin gets away a good kick, fielded by Meggett at the 11-yard line. And Dave Meggett, the slippery one, out to the 31, a 20-yard run back. Meggett from the 11 to the 31 after a 46-yard Tootin kick, and Tootin makes the tackle. Well, we saw the Bills, and they will go with that hurry-up all the time. The Giants absolutely on the other side of the spectrum. Jeff Hostetler is the quarterback. And with him, Otis Anderson and Maurice Carthen, the running backs. We see Meggett coming in as well on 3rd down. Baker and Ingram are the wideouts. Bavaro, the tight end, and the offensive line. They begin with 3 tight ends. We will see this set a lot. And Anderson can't go anywhere, but there's a flag down. Our first flag of the game. The tackle was made by Jeff Wright, but Jerry Seaman will tell us in a moment.
Well, one of the Bills was across the line of scrimmage when the ball was snapped, and he was not drawn off. So the very first defensive snap for the Bills results in a little 5-yard pickup.
Offside, number 56 defense, still first down.
Darryl Talley is right here at the bottom of your screen. You can see he was a good couple feet across the line of scrimmage. So this game is starting very nicely, thank you, if you are a follower of the New York Giants. 3 and out. Their defensive team forced the Buffalo offense, and now they're facing a 1st and 5, their first possession.
And the Giants put Meggett in the backfield on 1st and 5. They send Cross in motion, and they give it to Meggett. To the right side he goes, and out to the 41-yard line, a little short of the first down. He is tackled there by Bruce Smith. Now let's look at that Buffalo defense. And the guys up front, the big man, of course, is Bruce Smith, the dominant defensive player in the NFL right now. Bennett, Conlon, Bentley, and Talley are the linebackers, an excellent quartet. Jackson and Odoms are the corners. Smith is the hard-hitting strong safety, and Kelso is the free safety who never makes a mistake, in the words of Marv Levy. Carthen and Anderson are the Giants split backs on 2nd and inches from the 41-yard line. They send Ingram in motion. And keep it on the ground, and it's Carson, a short yardage guy and a blocking specialist, and one of Bill Parcells' favorites. Stopped by Bennett and Bentley, and it's a first down for New York.
Of the 28 teams in the National Football League, you could not have found two teams more at the opposite end of the offensive spectrum and how they deal with the clock. The Bills act like they're being cheated, like it's only going to be a 40-minute game, the way they hurry up and run plays. The Giants go into a play-killing, clock-killing offense from the first play of the game. They use up the play clock as much as they possibly can. They are running out the clock from the first play of the game.
As Parcells says, we like to shorten the game. First down from the 43-yard line. Hostetler fakes and then rolls to the right. Hits cross for a first down. He's out of bounds at the 45, and that is the type of thing Hostetler can do and Sims can't.
And even though Hostetler got the completion, this is something that the Giants wanted to show early. The Bills take a slashing attack to the pass with Cornelius Bennett, number 97. Now he gets caught inside. See number 97? He came in, fought for the play fake, got inside, and Hostetler was able to get outside. And the flag is down. It does appear to be defensively holding. See number 97? He was coming down the line of scrimmage in pursuit. That's what he does so well. Bruce Smith does it on the other side. He got caught inside on the bootleg, and a big pickup.
The penalty was declined, and so a nice gain for New York. And Marv Levy not looking at an opening of a ball game reminiscent of their two romps over the Dolphins and the Raiders in the playoffs.
We played 3.5 minutes with no score. First down at the 44-yard line with Meggett and Anderson in the backfield, and Meggett gets tripped up, but gets up, takes one of the officials with him. The Bills are saying he was down in the backfield. How can that play keep going? And the officials are saying no, as he takes it to the 34-yard line.
Well, did he trip over his own man, or did he?
Talley got upfield. Talley got upfield and forced the hit. I guess Otis Anderson was the lead blocker.
Anderson with the foot out, and it looked like Meggett might have tripped right over it. That's Anderson to the left. Now he puts the block on the blitzing Talley, and there is Meggett tripping over Anderson, and very quickly up on his feet, breaks it back against the grain, and big yardage down inside the 35.
No Bill touched him, so the play alive, and the Giants with a third successive first down at the 34-yard line. Hostetler. Good protection, throws, but too deep, and open was Bavaro. He'd gotten clear at about the 15, but Hostetler couldn't get it to him. Second down.
Bavaro wide open. Hostetler dancing around, a little uneasy back there. He took a lot of time, but he had a lot of time and might have got a little jumpy. Now, Bavaro didn't work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but he has got it back together. He gives a little out move, turns it upfield, sees the zone, pulls up. Hostetler doesn't read it with him, overthrows. And they miss an opportunity.
Second and 10, Giants at the Buffalo 34. No score, 10-11 to go, first quarter. That's Meggett in the backfield. In the absence of Rodney Hampton, we'll see Meggett's role expanded. Meggett on a draw, looks for room. Gets to the 31, picks up 3. Shane Conlon, the inside backer, and Leonard Smith makes the tackle. And for Phil Sims, he's where Jeff Hostetler was 4 years ago. When Hostetler, the Giant quarterback, was on injured reserve, watched the Super Bowl in street clothes in Pasadena, and now Phil in that same position today.
Phil, such a competitor. The MVP of the Giants win over Denver and their other Super Bowl win. But on the sideline, cheerleading. His future being questioned by many.
Third down and 7. Giants at the 31-yard line. 7th play of the drive. Hostetler out of the gun. Fires over the middle. Caught by Ingram. Inside the 20. Out of bounds at the 16. First down, Giants.
Well, a couple keys on that play. One was that Jeff Hostetler got great protection from his offensive line. A fabulous block up front that time by Jumbo Elliott working against Bruce Smith. Look at 76 here against 78. That you've got to get underneath. Smith is underneath, but Elliott is so doggone strong he can't handle it.
Meanwhile, it was Ingram reading the zone downfield, and that's what the Bills were trying to exploit, the Giant zone, but the Bills gave them a zone. Ingram came across the field and was wide open.
First and 10, Giants at the Buffalo 15. Otis Anderson for 2, and then pushed back by a trio of Bills led by Bentley and Conlon. Seals also helping out. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Stop by Conlon.
Great linebacking in this game as you look at Conlon. Tough against the run, often out of there against the pass. With Cornelius Bennett, Shane Conlon, Ray Bentley, Darryl Talley. That was a look at Bentley, but Conlon in on the play a moment ago. The strength and heart of this defense of the Bills. The linebackers along with Big Bruce Smith.
2nd down, 8. Let's make it offset in the backfield. Cross in motion. Hostetler on a roll, and the mobile one puts his head down and takes it to the 11-yard line. He is tackled there by Leon Seals, and that will set up a 3rd and 6.
Hostetler rolling again, looking downfield for a receiver. Receivers were covered. He pulls it down and picks up a couple of yards.
From the 11.
Gives you a lot of options, Hostetler. And they'll be using a lot of rollout option passing tonight, option pass or run, and just the plain bootleg.
3rd down and 6. 10th play of the drive coming. No score. Giants doing what they do so well, moving the ball and taking a lot of time off the clock after Buffalo was 3 and out on its first possession. They have to get to the 5 for a first down. Hostetler goes to the end zone and incomplete. Great defense as Mark Ingram was covered by Clifford Hicks.
And Mark Ingram can't just expect to get the call because the ball is underthrown. Clifford Hicks, number 27. Watch him play it to the inside. At the last minute, the head will come around, and you see him check the ball. That's just excellent defensive work by Hicks in combination with a ball that's pretty severely underthrown. Ingram left with no place to go in the end zone where he could have caught that ball for a touchdown.
This will be a 28-yard field goal attempt. Hostetler puts it down for Barr, last week's hero, and he picks up here where he left off at Candlestick. 28-yard field goal for Barr as the Giants march down the field, take the lead. 3-0 New York, 7:14 to go, opening quarter.
Sting, with the hit single taken from his brand new album, The Soul Cages.
To set up the Barr field goal.
Such a typical New York Giant drive.
Barr's kick taken by Don Smith from the 6. Smith is taken down up at the 29-yard line. The tackle is made by Lee Rousson. So now the Bills, who had scored coming into the game a touchdown on their first drive in 9 of their prior 12 games, will be taking over at the 29. The Giants with the early lead in Super Bowl 25.
Well, that game starts off well to go back to the field. Our match commentators from America.
The moon over Tampa. Kind of a murky day and night, but it's been dry. Slight chance of showers, isolated showers, but very pleasant at the moment and quite comfortable. Temperature in the 70-degree range. First down, Buffalo from the 29-yard line, and here is Thurman Thomas to the 31. He picks up 2. He is stopped by Renee Thompson, and here is the Giants defense. Dorsey, Howard, and Marshall up front. Fox and Washington also play a lot. Banks, Diassi, Johnson, and Taylor. The backers, Collins, Walls, Jackson, and Guyton, the basic 4. Though the Giants right now have 6 DBs in. And on 2nd and 8, going deep, it's tipped, and it's caught by Lofton, who is taken out of bounds at the 8-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. Tipped by Perry Williams and caught by the venerable James Lofton.
Perry Williams was actually in relatively good position, but the ball was so well thrown by Kelly that he had to leave his feet to get a piece of it. Lofton was just about a yard beyond him, and James Lofton, with the great concentration, stayed with it and made the catch.
61 yards, the longest play in postseason this year. And it's incomplete on 1st and goal, intended for the tight end, Keith McKellar, who was covered by Guyton, and that'll make it 2nd and goal from the 8. The play again.
Kelly with a lot of time and underthrown, as Dan pointed out. Williams, number 23, thought he had good position on it, and came up a little short on it. But the Bills obviously got what they wanted. Lofton against Williams.
2nd and goal, handed to Thomas on the inside give out of the gun. Thurman takes it to the 5. Eric Howard with the tackle. And it will be 3rd down and goal.
Again, it's a situation the Giants did not want. Williams single coverage on Lofton. Don Beebe beat Williams in the game they played 5 weeks ago, and they've come right back to it.
3rd and goal, and it is tipped volleyball and finally caught by Walls, but out of bounds. Walls got a piece of it, so did Thurman Thomas. And by the time Everson came down with it, he was on the stripe. So he's out of bounds, and the Bills have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Well, that's the defense that the New York Giants are going to run this whole game. They're going to sit back in a zone and let Thomas, let Reed work underneath. They will concede the 4- and 5-yard pass and attempt to knock the ball loose. And that's a good look at it right there. They'll let the Buffalo Bill player be the first guy to touch the ball, but then there's going to be contact, and contact in a hurry.
23-yard field goal. Guyton also got a piece of that as well, as Norwood boots it through. And so the 61-yard pass to the 34-year-old Lofton sets the Bills up for the game-tying field goal. 5:51 to go. First quarter, 3-3.
To receive for the Giants.
.51 to play in the opening quarter. That is Dave Meggett, and behind him is Dave Dewerson. And they will split when Norwood kicks it, and the Giants want it to wind up in Meggett's hands. And it does. And that's Norwood's first touchback of postseason. Norwood has not been kicking off very deep. It's been a source of concern for the Bills this season, but he booms this one into the end zone, and the Giants take over the 20-yard line. Jeff Hostetler, you've been reading about him, I'm sure, over the past week. A guy who spent 4 years not only on the bench, but his first 4 years with the Giants, he did not throw a single pass.
And you heard the Giants coaches on the sideline call out that glamorous offense that the Giants like to run. 3 tight ends. Tighten up your shoes. Here they come.
And 1 wide out. Ingram at the bottom of the screen. Anderson picks up about 4. Bruce Smith makes the stop. You know, these two teams met in the first preseason game, and one of the big stories was involving Otis Anderson at that point. Would he make the team? Would the Giants keep Otis, or would they keep Joe Morris? And Anderson, until the very end, was, as he put it the other night, scared stiff. Made the cut and plans to be back next season as well.
At the age of 34. But he's not a tired Otis Anderson. He had 2 or 3 years. He played very little when he came here in the trade from St. Louis a few years ago.
2nd and 5 from the 25-yard line. Hostetler has room, seeks the first down, and is very close and should have it. The head linesman right there to spot it. He is run out of bounds by Cornelius Bennett, and it is a first down.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the man they call Biscuit, Cornelius Bennett. You can see he's truly in no man's land. He started to rush, started to fall back, and then when he finally did get into full pursuit, finds out that Jeff Hostetler has darn good speed for a quarterback. Bennett, one of the fastest linebackers in the league, had to really hustle to catch up with Hostetler, but not until he'd already picked up a New York Giants first down. Biscuit, Cornelius Bennett.
1st and 10 up at the 30. Talking about Meggett's expanded role. There he is in the game with Carson leading. And Dave picks up about 2 to the 32. Darryl Talley, number 56, the outside backer, makes the stop. 2nd and 8.
The New York Giants feel that the Buffalo Bill defense, and justifiably so, has so many talented athletes. But it is the Giants' belief that they freelance, that they gamble, that people like Bruce Smith and Bennett will knife inside, but maybe knife a gap too far inside. And they feel that there are going to be some big plays against this defense. And Al and Frank, I think that's why Meggett's in the ball game sometimes. Dave Meggett is a guy who can capitalize on a mistake and turn it into a 30 or 40-yard play.
At the moment on 2nd and 8, they go back with Otis Anderson, leave him in the block. It's tipped, it's caught by Stephen Baker, and he's to the 50-yard line and a first down. Tackled by Kelso. And that's 6 first downs already for the Giants with 3.5 minutes to go in the quarter.
One thing Hostetler does do that Sims was not doing before he was injured, and that is go much more frequently to the outside men. And Ingram and Baker have been on the receiving end of quite a few Hostetler passes since he took over the starting lineup. There is the tip. That tip by Howard Cross, and Baker very alertly came up with it.
Well, Nate Odoms was working on Baker, and he gave him a 10-yard cushion. He wasn't even in the picture.
That's Odoms following Ingram, who was the man in motion, and from the 50, it's Otis Anderson plowing ahead for 3. Tackled by Leon Seals with 2:50 to go in the opening quarter, and the game tied 3-3.
The middle of the field where they are located right now was torn up yesterday. They took about 6 inches of turf out of there because it had dried with the paint, and they re-sodded it again. Everyone was out sniffing around there today, checking it all out, as only athletes can do, but it appears to be no problem whatsoever.
2nd and 7 at the 46-yard line. Fake to Anderson. Hostetler buying time and then throws too high, intended for Baker, and it's easy to throw too tall to Baker. He's only 5'8". He's covered by Kirby Jackson.
Covered well by Jackson, and Ingram was picked up and covered very well deep downfield. Let's take a look at it again. It will be Baker. He has good speed, and you find a lot of defensive backs laying well off him, but this time Jackson looking him right in the eye when he senses the Baker's going back for the ball. He tries to get back, and he was open. The ball just overthrown.
I'm not sure that 6'8" or 6'9" would have brought that one down. Well overthrown.
At the 46-yard line, 3rd and 6. And the Giants from the shotgun send everybody out into the pattern, including Meggett, and it's off his hands and incomplete. And as is usually the case when Meggett goes out and Hostetler is hurt, Hostetler's taken up. Talley was covering him. Kirby Jackson, who blitzes a lot for a cornerback, was the guy who knocked Hostetler down.
Jackson comes on a blitz off the top of the formation. He's lined up on a receiver, gave Hostetler the look that he was going to play pass. Watch him come off the top of your screen. You see his legs and his feet. Here comes Jackson. Jumbo Elliott, oblivious to his coming. It's not his man. Beautifully played that time by Kirby Jackson, giving the look of coverage and then delaying a half a beat and coming on the rush.
Sean Landeta will try to angle the kick. And it bounces into the end zone. So Landeta with the line of scrimmage, the 46, boots one into the end zone, and that's only a 26-yard net as Buffalo. Well, Buffalo plays the hurry-up. The Giants like to, as Parcells says, shorten the game. It's not that unusual if the Giants would have a big edge in time of possession, and the score would be even. And that's the case right now, 3-3. Bills have it at the 20, first down. Kelly hands it to Thomas. Thurman picks up 3, gets to the 23, 2nd and 7. Pepper Johnson makes the tackle.
Keep in mind, this is not a no-huddle offense. This is a hurry-up offense. This is unlike what the Cincinnati Bengals do, where they just huddle close to the line of scrimmage. The intent of this offense is to run plays and run them quickly.
The equivalent of a basketball fast break. And there's a first down as Andre Reed takes it to the 34 for a gain of 11. He's hit by Thompson and Collins. First down.
But even in this no-huddle offense, you're trying to do much the same, and that is keep the same players on the field. try and get your big man against their little man, your fast man against their slow man, and they've been very successful.
That was the play clock you saw on first down. The catch is made up at about the 37-yard line by Andre Reed. Stopped by Thompson. And we are under a minute now to play in the first quarter.
Yeah, again, a good look at that play clock. The Giants will take that thing down inside 10 seconds, inside 5 seconds. The Bills snapped it with 30 seconds left.
And
False start prior to the snap. 51 offense. Still second down.
the 30. And Myron Guyton is shaken up.
Thomas,
Just for the moment.
The checkoff man, as he has been so many times this year.
Boy, and what a move he put on Greg Jackson.
Thomas is slow getting up.
Thurman Thomas just so dangerous in the open field. Not flashy moves. They are not, you know, that typical show them the leg and take it away. Not an O.J. Simpson type of runner. Much more compact than that. But yet you'll still see people miss him and miss him cleanly. I mean, miss him without doing much but grazing an arm. Look how badly he made Jackson miss. And then it's Carl Banks who really picked him up off the ground, and you see Guyton go down. Tough to tell what happened to Myron.
Sight of Thomas going off the field would put a lump in any Buffalo fan's throat. He's out for the moment. Kenneth Davis is in, and it's Davis who gets it on first down and picks up 3. Davis, 5'10", 209-pounder in his 5th year out of TCU. Doesn't play that much, normally just to give Thomas a breather. First quarter offense in postseason against Miami. They scored 13 points, 164 in terms of yardage, blew the Raiders out. And today, most of the yardage came on that pass to Lofton. Here's Kelly, complete to Reed, and Reed already having a big night. With the game barely more than a quarter old, has a first down at the 16-yard line. Andre Reed has already caught 6 passes.
Reed takes it all the way across the field, underneath the zone, and the Giants, well, they'll give you that. You complete a lot of passes against them. You do not get many yards against them, but if you keep pecking away, you're going to keep moving the football.
And breathe easier, Buffalo. Thomas is back in the game, and he gets the ball, and he picks up 2, taking it to the 14-yard line.
For those of you that haven't followed the Bills all that much, if you're wondering how do they get the play in from the sidelines to quarterback Jim Kelly so quickly, the answer is they don't. Jim Kelly is calling his own plays and very happy to do so. A quarterback's dream, and he's running his own show.
2nd and 7. Tremendous protection. McKellar makes the catch. McKellar takes it to the 8, and a flag is down. Back at the 20-yard line.
Thrown by the referee. That's normally, oh, and we're going to get a roughing the passer call. It's his responsibility is to watch the right tackle and to watch the quarterback. He's either going to call a hold on the right tackle when the referee throws the flag, or it's going to be some sort of a personal foul, and that's what we have.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, extra step, number 70 defense. First down.
Leonard Marshall.
Well, it's incumbent upon Leonard Marshall in this play to pull up on it. The ball had been delivered. Kelly was watching the ball, and Marshall delivered the shot. And the Giants all confused on their defense. They tried to get a timeout before the ball was snapped. Kelly is saying that they didn't do that, but they're going to give them the timeout.
Timeout, New York, prior to the snap. Timeout prior to the snap, New York.
Jerry Seaman has the final word. The Giants, I think, were caught with 12 men on the field. And it appeared that Dorsey, to us anyway, Dorsey was late in getting off. So the Giants have to burn the timeout here. It's going to be 1st and goal at the 4.
Boy, and Bill Parcells, who's worked all week long on trying to substitute. You see him think. We've worked on this. They were caught making. Take a look at this right here. Here are a couple guys all the way back here at the 15. Buffalo's on the line of scrimmage and ready to run a play. One of those guys is going. One of them is coming. A smart timeout by the Giants defense.
And you're right, Dan, they have worked on it all week, and their scout team has been running the Buffalo offense, the no-huddle offense, and this time they got caught. Now, here was a hit a moment ago that drew the flag, and the ball is gone. Leonard's got to pull up on that. That'll get a flag every time, and it should.
That's flagrant. That's flagrant. And, of course, those of you in San Francisco know that it was a clean and legitimate shot by Leonard Marshall that separated Joe Montana from the ball and broke Joe's finger and knocked him out of the game.
1st and goal now as they shift out of the eye. Send McKellar in motion. Give it to Mueller. The big fullback barrels forward. And he's stopped just short of the goal line by Lawrence Taylor. Mueller has become one of the forgotten men this year. Doesn't carry the ball that often. Big blocking fullback, but they like to use him when they get down close.
A major league collision between this guy, Lawrence Taylor. He's right in it, not blocked, and he hits Mueller at the 2, and Mueller had enough momentum to carry Lawrence Taylor backwards and ended up down inside the 1-yard line. Almost got it in. But that play was read and diagnosed perfectly by Lawrence Taylor.
They may be looking at the play in terms of crossing the plane of the goal line. Let's take a look again. There's a stoppage here from the officials.
And technically, they can look at it if they choose to see where to spot the ball.
And they have to stop it because the Bills using the no-huddle offense, they don't give them really a time enough to look at the play before they're up there ready to run another play.
Mueller was close to getting that ball in the end zone, but it looked like an accurate spot.
Short of the goal line, 2nd down.
Yep. They confirmed that it was an accurate spot by the officiating crew.
12:42 to go. 1st half, game time 3-3. Bills terrific once they get inside the opponent's 5-yard line. Near perfect. Don Smith and Mueller are the running backs, and Donnie Smith takes it into the end zone.
Oh, and Jamie Mueller buried a Giant. And Donnie Smith came right off his fanny into the end zone.
Well, it was Gary Reasons, Frank, the linebacker, that took on Mueller. Reasons has no choice but to sell out in the backfield, and he's obliterated by Mueller. Two of the finest blocking fullbacks in the league are in this game. Jamie Mueller for the Bills, Maurice Carthon for the New York Giants.
Scott Norwood for the extra point. Frank Wright puts it down. And Don Smith knows his way into the end zone in Tampa. He used to play with the Bucks. They left him unprotected. Picked up by Buffalo in Plan B.
Reason 55 fill in the hole just like he should. Mueller bangs into Reason. The hole is there, and Donnie Smith takes it in.
25-10-3. The Buffalo Bills up by 7. They come into the game favored by 7. It's the most an AFC team has been favored by since Pittsburgh went in as an 11-point choice over the Rams following the '79 season.
That's because it's been a long time since the AFC sent this good a football team to the Super Bowl.
Dave Duerson fields it on a hop from the 10 and takes it out to the 31-yard line. ABC's presentation of the Super Bowl is being brought to you by Diet Coke. Real refreshment just for the taste of it. By Nike, who reminds you to just do it.
Well, while our match commentators tell the American audience about why they're watching this game and who's really paying for it, we will now go back to the game as they've stopped doing it. Our match commentators again.
Hostetler.
That was going to be a screen pass. That was going to be a screen to Otis Anderson. But Bruce Smith, by taking such a big inside move, just ate Anderson up. Anderson actually saved a sack, but at the same time, he ended up sacrificing the play, all because of the big move inside by Big Bruce. Watch the left. Watch the right side of your screen, rather. You see Smith in there. Anderson gets tied up with him. Right now, Jeff Hostetler knows he has nowhere to go with the football, but this is what he can do. He takes a negative and makes it a positive. Although only a 2-yard positive, still he made something happen.
2nd and 8, Giants from their own 34. 11:50 to go in the half. 10-3, Bills. Anderson on a delay. Nudges forward for a couple. Jeff Wright, the nose tackle, makes the stop along with help from Leon Seals. Here's a reminder coming up following the game tonight. Davis Rules, great new show. Jonathan Winters and Randy Quaid, father and son. That'll make you wish your family was this many laughs. Davis Rules previews after the game tonight. Third and 6, Giants at the 36-yard line. From the shotgun. Bills rush 5. Hostetler hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. Leon Seals really decked him, and Hostetler once again slow and arising. The backup is Matt Cavanaugh.
One of the things they did is they moved Bruce Smith to the other side of the line, and Smith took his customary big inside move. Seals loops around to the outside, and because Smith took 2 guys, he gets the shot on the QB.
Hostetler standing in there, and he just runs right through him.
Again, though, caused by Bruce Smith and his ability to monopolize the line of scrimmage.
Sean Landetta with the line of scrimmage, the 36. Al Edwards calls for a fair catch and makes it in a very odd spot right along the sideline at the 27-yard line.
Let's go back again, and I want to show you. Here's Bruce Smith right here. Watch him go to the inside. He's going to occupy Riesenberg and Moore on this side, and here comes Seals around to the outside. But it's Bruce Smith and his ability. There's the one guy. He's got Riesenberg. There he's got Moore, and that's just easy pickings for Leon Seals coming around, and poor Jeff Hostetler pays the price. It is the tremendous dominance of Bruce Smith that allows plays like that to happen. And we can see on the sidelines that Matt Cavanaugh is beginning to warm up. He is throwing the ball on the Giants sideline.
And if he were to get into the game, well, there he is on the phone for the moment as they work on Hostetler. Smelling salt. The Giants have 2 quarterbacks. It would be Mark Ingram in an emergency. They have, I mentioned Mark Ingram as a possible emergency quarterback, and also Dave Meggett to take some snaps in the shotgun. From the 27-yard line, here's Thurman Thomas exploiting a huge hole and a 14-yard gain to the 41-yard line. Everson Walls makes the stop, and Jim Richards' block paved the way.
Well, we have seen outstanding work to this point in the ballgame turned in by the Bills' offensive line. Will Wolford, Jim Richard, Kent Hull, John Davis, and Howard Ballard. They're dominating the line right now.
Here's Thomas again. Dances his way forward up to the 45 for a gain of 4. He's stopped by Pepper Johnson. And this, I think, is a very big series for the Giants defense.
Giants continuing to go with the 2 down linemen, and all of a sudden now the Bills starting to exploit that, firing out, getting into the linebackers with their bigger men, driving him off the line and giving it to Thomas.
Giants are not the type of team that wants to be down 17-3. It's 2nd and 6. Kelly incomplete. It's knocked away by Guyton, in and out of the hands of Andre Reed.
Beautifully timed out by Myron Guyton, who probably is the least heralded of these Giants, who has contributed so much. And there is the young coach, Bill Belichick, who many are speculating will move on to a head job. But look at the timing of this. Guyton arriving with the ball, causing the incompletion.
Giants nearly jump, and in fact they did, unless they were pulled off on what would be a 3rd and 6. So if the Giants came across, it'll be 3rd and 1.
Encroachment prior to the snap. Number 74 offense.
Eric Howard.
One of the problems defensively when you're faced with this hurry-up offense is, one, getting your lines of communication to all 11 players, but the other one is losing concentration. And that's all that was right there, where Eric Howard ended up coming clear across the line of scrimmage and making contact.
And they yanked him and replaced him with Mike Fox, 93, over the nose. Kelly on 3rd and 1, throws, and Reed, can you believe that? Stops the pressures, drops the ball.
That might have been very providential for Andre Reed. He was about to be put away by Pepper Johnson. He was about 3 steps from him. Pepper had him right in his sights. Here he comes across that Giant zone, letting you have everything underneath. The big number 52 says, try it next time. I'll still be here.
And so the Giants, on a key defensive series, do hold 4th and 1. Rick Tootin to kick.
Well, a lot of people would question catching the ball there on the 6-yard line, but when you can run like him, I've seen him break them and go for touchdowns, so I won't question his. I'm sure Bill Parcells is questioning what he did just then. Danny, the American commentators were just saying that series really was a big series, especially for the Giants, really, wasn't it? The Buffalo Bills could have taken it away.
Yeah, they've been on a roll lately, the Bills. Now Giants stopped their momentum a little bit, but actually the Bills stopped themselves because Andre Reed dropped that pass.
Kenny, Hostetler got absolutely wailed upon on the last series, and there's some question whether he'll even come back in. That would be a major loss, wouldn't it?
I don't think there's any doubt about it, Danny. Danny and I were talking about earlier that without him, I don't think they have a chance with Kavanaugh. But you watch right there, this little game between Smith and Seals, and he's standing right in there. He's got that great athletic ability. What you'd like to see him do right there, instead of stepping right into that 290 pounds, is use that athletic ability, move around back there and buy yourself some time.
Yeah, I'm sure if he had seen that, he would be saying the same. I wish I'd run on the outside.
Yeah, well, I think if you see the replay, he was thrown to the guy that wasn't even open at the time. I think he might have been trying to throw it away. With his ability, he should have tried to get out of there.
Would you have run on that one, Danny?
Yeah, I'd have made the guy miss. Ran for a first down, maybe 20, 30 yards.
Sure.
Quickly, before we go back to the game, Thurman Thomas has started coming into his own, hasn't he?
Well, I think they've been trying to run the ball against the linebackers that they have in there, Lawrence Taylor and Pepper Johnson. I think it's been working for him a little bit.
I think it's a matter of just seeing what they're doing, those two down linemen, the linebackers, having seen it, and then getting a running game and getting the blocking combinations that they want against those linebackers.
Another name we're hearing a lot of is Bruce Smith. I mean, he seems to be dominating a little bit there, having the double team, and that's opening up for the guys outside, isn't it?
Well, that's very true. When they run games, as you know, I said earlier, that you always have to know where Bruce Smith is on the field. So he's coming inside. 2 or 3 guys will come in to block him, and that frees up Leon Seals coming outside.
All right, well, it's 10-3 to the Buffalo Bills. Now let's go back down to the field for the action.
Giants have it at their own 6-yard line. Hostetler in the game, leading the Giants from deep in their own territory. Buffalo up by 7. Carthen and Anderson behind him. Hostetler off the fake. Hits OJ for a gain of about 7 to the 13. You know, I mentioned, guys, that the Giants didn't want to be down 17-3. No team, of course, does. But if the Giants were to fall behind by 2 touchdowns with their offense, they'd have to score, let's face it, at least 17 to win the game and hold Buffalo without another point.
And those are point totals that just haven't been coming easy to the New York Giants, Al. I mean, not to mention the fact that at the pace that they move offensively, it would take them a half to score that long if they scored every possession.
2nd and 3. Flag. Anderson, he's close to a first down. pending the penalty. Bentley in on the tackle.
And so frequently that is the holding call, that flag right in the middle of the line.
I think Bart Oates, he was in the middle of that thing. If you're guilty by how close the flag lands to you.
Holding. Number 65 offense. Still second down.
Bart Oates passed the bar this July.
Did you ever try to kick that flag, Dan, when it hovered around your ankles?
No, the worst, some of those umpires were downright mean, and they would throw it right at you. And one of the guys one time threw it and hit Dobler right in the eye. It stuck in his face mask, and he was trying to pull that yellow flag out of his helmet. That's when everybody knows who it is.
2nd and 10 from the 6-yard line. Hostetler under heat. Sacked for the safety. Bruce Smith.
Hostetler lost it, pulling away from the center. Whether he was stepped on or just tripped, he might have tripped over his.
I think he tripped over Otis. I think he tripped over Otis Anderson.
Otis was getting set to pick up the blitz and did not step up, and Hostetler collided with him, and it was fortunate for the Giants it was not 6 instead of 2. Now watch 24, Anderson.
Jeff Hostetler appeared to drop right back on the hash marks, which was where the snap of the ball was. But he did. He tripped over Otis Anderson, and Bruce Smith gets a relatively easy safety.
And Buffalo will be getting the ball back.
Well, our American network has again gone to commercial, but Gary's run into a couple of fellows that may have been able to get away from Bruce Smith in the end zone.
I'm back in the stands with a typical free safety linebacker type and perhaps a prototype possession receiver, Daley Thompson and Steve Cram. Who are you rooting for, guys?
Buffalo Bills. We stick with the AFC.
Buffalo! I'm sticking with Steve because he knows all about it.
No. I always support the Denver Broncos. They're my team because I go training in Colorado every year. And they've been useless this year. They should have been here, but so we're going to stick with the AFC and we're rooting for the Bills.
And Daley, you're a bit of an all-rounder. Do you ever fancy yourself as linebacker looking at this?
Oh no, it looks like just like I don't like getting beat up. I'm too good looking for that kind of stuff, Gary.
Okay, enjoy the game, lads, and we'll go back upstairs.
Thanks, Gary. Well, Daley Thompson, I'm going to meet him next week and play some golf, so I'm going to keep him away from her missus if he thinks he's that good looking. Guys, we just saw a big play by the Buffalo Bills. We had just talked about Bruce Smith. This wasn't all him, though, was it?
Well, I think the big thing was here is that Hostetler tripped over Otis Anderson, gave Bruce Smith an opportunity to give him the sack. He's lucky he didn't drop the ball here and get a touchdown. Only got a safety.
You know, Mick, it's easy to sit up here and second guess, but I found a problem with throwing the ball that deep in your own territory, throwing it that deep this early with the score only 7-3.
Yep. Well, it's a big play. That means that now the New York Giants will have to kick from the 20-yard line. Let's go back to the field.
8 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the first half. Jeff Hostetler sacked for a safety. His team now down 12-3. Bruce Smith had 19 sacks this season. They came in the first 13 games of the regular year. Much was made about the fact he didn't have any in the last 3 games of the regular season or in the playoffs. For 5 straight games, he didn't have a sack, and then he picked a pretty good time to get off the schneid.
It looked like a sure thing that he was going to beat Mark Gastineau's NFL record of 22. But then a shutout at the end of the season cost him that.
So it's a free kick for Landeta and a booming kick taken at the 15 by Al Edwards, and Lee Rousson comes flying down to make the tackle at the 29-yard line. Back to the safety.
Watch this combination of events here. Go ahead and roll the tape, guys, if you could. Hostetler drifts a little to his left. Anderson doesn't move far enough to the left. Right there. You can see the right foot of Hostetler connecting with the right foot of Otis Anderson. Then watch this. Watch Bruce Smith here from the left. Grab for the ball. He's got Hostetler's wrist. Jeff senses it. Look at him pull the ball into his chest. The Giants are very fortunate to escape, only losing 2 points to the Bills. That could have been a touchdown.
Buffalo at the 30-yard line, and Jim Kelly airs it out, and it's dropped at the 42-yard line, incomplete. Picked up by Collins, but the play is dead. Andre Reed hit by Guyton to dislodge it. And Guyton telling them all about it.
As Reed again going against the zone. You see Thompson try to get the little pop in there. He didn't slow him up at all. He gets into the gap. The ball is right in there, and he just drops it.
Back-to-back drops for Reed. This is not the kind of work you normally see for this all-pro receiver. One of the most versatile receivers in the National Football League.
2nd and 10. You saw Jerry Seaman simply resetting the play clock with that upward movement. Kelly on 2nd and 10. McKellar can't make the one-handed catch. Banks covering on the play, and it will be 3rd and 10.
Well, that time McKellar was wide open over the middle, and Kelly just missed him. Reed has dropped one at midfield, and McKellar drops one that is wide open. Now look at him pull up in the zone. He reads it right there. He's wide open, and the ball is just overthrown by Kelly.
3rd and 10. They have to get to the 40-yard line. Kelly stepping up, throwing, incomplete. Giant secondary does its job. McKellar couldn't spring free. 4th down, and the Bills are now 0 for 4 on 3rd down.
And the New York Giants that time did something that they've been talking about doing, but haven't done much of up to now, and that's get a pass rush. They finally forced Jim Kelly to move out of the pocket, and thus the errant pass. But up to this point in time, the Giants have not generated much in the way of a pass rush. You can see that it is not a mobile Jim Kelly that's going to kill you.
Rick Tootin to kick. Dave Meggett, who averaged 10.9 yards per punt return this year, calls for the fair catch back at the 23-yard line. 47-yard kick for Tootin, and the Giants have the ball with 7:53 to play in the first half. Buffalo Bills, as you know, in the Super Bowl for the first time ever. Born in 1960, one of the original American Football League teams. And Marv Levy, a guy who's been around. Phi Beta Kappa from Coe College in Iowa, Masters in History from Harvard. His 12th coaching job, the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. First down at the 23-yard line. Anderson with 3 up to the 26.
Giants still apparently trying to stay with their game plan. They came into the ball game only down 12-3, and obviously a shaken player on the field, and we hear the whistles blow.
Jeff Wright,
the nose tackle.
And he'll be replaced by Gary Baldinger. The Bills are very thin up front. Last year they had Fred Smerlas and Art Still, and they're both gone, and they've been replaced by Seals and Wright to form the threesome up there with Smith. Baldinger, the backup 4th-year man out of Wake Forest.
Got a brother Brian plays in Indianapolis, and Rich plays at Kansas City. What a family.
2nd and 8. Giants in the 26. It's Cross in motion. Anderson, and Otis fights his way out to the 30-yard line. That's going to set up a 3rd and 4 with 7:10 remaining in the half.
It's not a very sophisticated game plan by the Giants. They're going to run behind Jumbo Elliott. And of course, that's countered by the Bills saying, well, if Elliott's going to move somebody off the line of scrimmage, it's going to have to be Bruce Smith.
Of course, their thinking being that without Elliott, they averaged 118 yards on the ground. When he came back and played, they've been averaging 158 yards on the ground, so they keep banging over there. And now they have put themselves in the pass situation.
3rd and 4 at the 30. Ingram comes in motion to the same side as Baker, and then reverses his direction. And Hostetler has it knocked down, batted down at the line of scrimmage as the Bills penetrated. And it may have been,
I don't know, Leon Seals is acting like he did it.
Yep. It was just a surge. The Giants offensive line not giving Hostetler the time. They were right back into his face. Watch number.
That's Leon Seals. It hit him right on the right elbow.
That counts. Watch him go up. Times it out perfectly.
That's why offensive linemen don't like defensive linemen. They can do stuff like that without even getting close to the quarterback.
Landetta's kick, a beauty. That's a 55-yard kick to the 15-yard line, and the fair catch is made by Al Edwards.
Al Edwards signaled for a fair catch when there wasn't anybody close to him. I mean, if it wasn't such a great kick.
I'm thinking about it. When's the last time you saw a fair catch on a 55-yard punt?
Not very often. There's the signal for the fair catch. There's only one man in front of him, and that's just hard to believe that Edwards went ahead and signaled for that fair catch. Roger Brown was the only guy within 20 yards of it.
From the 16-yard line, here's Thurman Thomas picking up the first down. Bounced off his own man Lofton and out to the 34-yard line for a gain of 18.
If you don't like Thurman Thomas, you don't like anything about this game.
He runs so big, doesn't he, Dan?
You ought to be watching soap operas.
198 pounds, and he runs like a 220-pound back, and he's so quick and shifty. Watch him take Lofton out, his own man peck blocking downfield, and then he just looks for Guyton and hammers Guyton.
8 carries, 53 yards for Thomas, and now he's got 9 carries for 57, picking up 4 out to the 38-yard line.
Something about Thomas, who is kind of self-generating in the third game of the season for us, the Jets and Buffalo. He had 214 yards rushing on that given night, and he just kept getting better the more times they gave it to him.
2nd and 6, and here's Thomas again, their second leading receiver this year, doing what he does best, making people miss, picking up a first down up to the 48-yard line. This drive is a Thomas highlight film.
How about Davis and Hall, the guard in the center that flowed out on the screen, simultaneously drop a pair of giants. There's Kent Hull, the Pro Bowl center, John Davis, the right guard. Boy, what a couple of great blocks.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard line from the shotgun. Kelly, that man again, Thomas. And out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A gain of 8. Greg Jackson with the coverage. And Thurman says, I need a break. I need a break.
You know, it's up to Thomas. They're not going to change the offense much because he gets more work than any of the receivers, anyone else in that offensive unit. He's in the pass pattern. He runs the football. He runs on the draw. He runs on the screen. And when he has finally had it, he points the finger to himself, get me out of here, and they bring in help, Kenneth Davis.
Davis is in there. They send him out into the pattern as Kelly goes deep on 2nd and short, and it's incomplete. A double team. James Lofton surrounded by Everson Walls.
And that time Walls coming over to help Perry Williams. The Bills have made no secret of it. They want to attack the right corner. Perry Williams looking for single coverage. This time they didn't get it. Williams is 23. He's in coverage with concert with Walls, who drops from the safety to help him out. They beat him earlier on single coverage, and they come back, and this time it doesn't work.
3rd and 2, and there's movement in the line before the snap.
What made it not work also, Frank, was the fact that it was a very poorly thrown pass by Jim Kelly. Way underthrown.
False start prior to the snap. Number 69 offense. Still 3rd down.
That's going to make it 3rd and 7 now. Will Wolford.
Wolford going to the Pro Bowl this year. Their talented left tackle. He's lined up on Lawrence Taylor. Offensive tackles are a little unnerved about having to block somebody in a 2-point stance. They almost always are locked up against the defensive end who's down on the ground just like he is. They're very uncomfortable taking on a linebacker, and of course that's what the Giants are giving them now.
3rd and 7. Catch is made, but Andre Reed is short of the first down. At the 45, he is stopped by Carl Banks, and so that penalty was important. It made it 3rd and 7 instead of 3rd and 2, and now it's 4th and 3.
And Banks playing that zone just perfectly. Let him catch the ball underneath and then hammer him. And Reed bounces up, but that hurt. And this is what's been going on all night with Lawrence Taylor. He's attracting a lot of attention. Double pickup on that play.
Well, what's happening?
He sees it all the time.
What's happening, Frank? With only 2 linemen in the game, they're forcing Taylor to play like the 3rd lineman.
Tootin's kick. Meggett is back to call for the fair catch. Make it at the 12-yard line. That is a 32-yard kick, and the Giants once again begin a drive deep in their own territory with 3:49 to go in the half, and Buffalo up by 9.
And even when the Bills have not been able to rout the Giants here early on, they've moved the ball so well that when they are forced to punt, they're punting up close to midfield, and the Giants starting deep in their own territory.
Program note coming up Saturday, 3 o'clock 2 Central. ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour rolls on. The $150,000 Quaker State Open. Then following that, ABC's Wide World of Sports, the Harlem Globetrotters at Walt Disney World, and the NutraSweet World Challenge of Champions. From the 13-yard line, Hostetler on a roll, hits Bavaro. He's banged down by Shane Conlon after a gain of about 6. Well, that was such a big play last week by Bavaro in that championship game in San Francisco. So many plays talked about, and Barr, of course, and Hostetler and the rest. But what about that 19-yard pass to Bavaro to set up the Barr field goal at the end?
Hostetler chased out of the pocket. That's what he does so well. And then coming up with another one to Baker to set up that game-winning field goal. But they're struggling at the moment.
2nd and 4 from the 19-yard line. Conlon had to come out, and Bailey spells him, and Anderson exploits a hole, takes it to the 36. The kind of charge the Giants are looking for, getting them out of a hole here. First down up at the 36-yard line.
Now that's the kind of movement that a lot of people weren't sure that Otis Anderson still was capable of at this age. He wants to run off left guard. He sees nothing. He's going to jump all the way back around Riesenberg, the right tackle. And of course, Mark Kelso makes a mistake here. He comes in and takes on Otis Anderson a little too high. I mean, that is just an excellent piece of running by O.J. Anderson.
Conlon back in for Buffalo. First down to the 37. 2:27 to go in the half. Hostetler pressured by Smith. Throws, and open is Ingram along the sidelines. First down. And Smith is there over the fallen Hostetler, but Jeff once again gets up.
Ingram with a good move. He made a sideline pattern out of it. Hostetler kind of looked him downfield. Here he is. He takes another tremendous shot from Smith, but he delivers the ball to the outside and beats Nate Odoms. Smith coming flashing down again on Hostetler. Just powering through Jumbo Elliott. Gets to him just as he releases the ball.
2:05 remaining in the half. Ingram is in motion, and the Giants do get the play off before the 2-minute warning as Meggett takes it inside the 30 to the 25, where Leonard Smith makes the tackle. And the clock stops for the 2-minute warning, which comes officially with 1:55 remaining in the half.
And I think that was Otis Anderson that throws the block right on Darryl Talley. O.J. Anderson, so much more to this team than just an aging running back. He's the heart and soul of this offense.